Good morning, I'm Richard from Early Retirement Wonderlust, and it's the first Thursday of the month, so it is time to talk all things well-being. And today I want to talk you through a book that was absolutely pivotal when we made our decision to early retire. It is Die with Zero by Bill Perkins. First of all, I would not want you to be put off by the rather sensationalist title of Die with Zero. There is so much more to the book than that simple premise, and I know that some people are switched off by its rather clickbaity title, really. But actually the book goes much beyond that, and I think if you look at the subtitle of Getting All You Can from Your Money and Your Life, you get a much more accurate view of what the book is actually about. So what I want to do in this book review is to take you through the basic premise of the book and then pull out the 10 key features of the book that I've actually taken away and tried in some way to apply to my life after reading the book. Perkins is a mathematical analyst by trade, and he refines life down to 3 key variables: our health, our wealth, and our time, and we can make investments into those 3 variables, and only those 3 variables, throughout our life. With the title of the book being Die with Zero, you would expect it to be based around a deathbed mentality, and it absolutely is. It talks about our life being the sum of our experiences, and we have a choice throughout life as to what those experiences are going to be. In essence, we need to decide right now what the story of our life is going to be. You would expect any book that talks about personal finance to talk about the effects of compound interest, but this book takes an interesting tack in the fact it talks about the compounding interest on the experiences that you invest in, and not just the financial investments. So just the same way that our financial investments pay us back interest over time, if we make investments in life experiences, then we get a compounding effect of those life experiences, and we get what Perkins refers to as memory dividends. So if you think back to an experience that you've invested in previously in your life, it wasn't just that experience that brought you joy. It continues to bring you joy in your memories throughout life, and that will continue all the way up to the end of your life. One of the biggest questions the book raises is why, as humans, are we investing 50 years of our time into our working lives for an undisclosed period of time for our retirement? Now, we all obviously hope that that retirement is going to be long and fruitful, but there are no guarantees in life, and Perkins asks the question, quite rightly, have we got that balance between work and retirement correct? One of the things I really do like about the book is it's grounded in the fact that we are all individuals, and we all have a freedom to make our own individual choices about how we invest in our time, in our health, and in our wealth. Despite the quite extreme title for the book, what it doesn't do is promote extreme values. So Perkins goes to great lengths to point out he is not promoting that you spend every single penny of your money and you die penniless, or even worse, you actually run out of money before you die, because that would be just foolhardy. What the book does promote is perhaps moving to more of a middle ground of balancing out our saving and spending to make sure that we have the opportunity for building lifelong experiences and ultimately a fulfilled life. We've all probably heard of the phrase, there is a time for work and there is a time for play, and the book has an interesting spin on that, saying that there is a time for earning and there is a time for spending, and sometimes I think we may have lost focus on that particular part of our lives. So what I want to do is to take you through what I consider the 10 key takeaways that we can all take from this book and start applying to our lives from today. For me, the book has helped me really reevaluate my priorities in life and think about what I want out of a fulfilled life. When I lost my dad and my brother suddenly a few years ago, it made me realise that life is far too short, and I had perhaps got the balance wrong. I was spending a lot of my time chasing wealth and wealth development, working hard, but what I was probably neglecting in my life at that time was finding the experiences that were actually going to make up a fulfilled life rather than just chasing the money. We all have a bucket list, and I think it's really important to have a bucket list of experiences that you are wanting to tick off in life that are going to contribute to a more fulfilled life. What the book encourages you to do, however, is to take that bucket list and time phase it, because there are certain things that you will not be able to do at certain points in your life. So when you are really young, you are not going to be able to seek out those experiences that require a huge amount of financial investment, because when you're young you simply don't have that money. But likewise, as you get older and your health declines, there are certain activities, perhaps like skydiving, that you are not going to be physically capable of doing. So you are better doing those experiences when you're young. And taking our bucket list and time phasing it is something that we've done, and it was a really worthwhile exercise, and we are now doing things in the moment that we perhaps would have been putting off, that we shouldn't have been putting off. This part of the book really helped me realise that I was perhaps devoting too much of my time to actually earning and acquiring wealth and saving for my retirement, and yet I was actually missing out on experiences in the moment. I think for me, having lost my dad and my brother so suddenly, it's important to remember that no one on their deathbed is ever going to think, oh, I wish I worked a little bit harder, or I wish I'd stayed at work a little bit longer, or I wish I'd replied to more work emails. It's not about that. It is about the life experiences that you get. And I think that, I had got the balance of allocating my resources wrong, and I was trying to accrue too many resources and not willing to spend it at the same time. I found this next concept really difficult to get my head round, and it is in essence looking at experiences as more than just a financial or a time investment, and thinking about the memory dividends that they will pay back over the course of the years to come. Prior to reading this book, there were certain things that I would not have done because they simply cost too much, or I hadn't got the time to do them. Whereas now there are things that I absolutely prioritize in my life, like family time and meeting up with friends and making those connections, that actually don't cost very much in terms of money. They might cost a little bit in terms of time, but in terms of providing me with a fulfilled life, they are paying me back in bucket loads. The book has really helped me think about how we spend our money, and thinking about not wasting our money on things that aren't bringing us value to our life, because if we are a little bit more frugal, it means that we have more money and time to spend on the things that we really value. If you've watched any of the stuff that we put out on our channel previously, you will know that Jackie and I have both embraced the value of living a much more simple life, because by living a simple life, it means that we have less overheads, so therefore the little bit of money that we have got, we can truly invest in the things that we value, and we may be a little bit cash poor, but we are actually very, very time rich in our early retirement. The book really emphasised to us the importance of living a life of less is more, where we actually have less stuff, so we're not spending our money on materialistic things, but we are actually investing our money and our time on experiences, because as the book keeps reiterating, those experiences keep paying back over time in terms of our memories, and all contribute together to make a fulfilled life. And for us, that was really, really important. One of the things we definitely did take from the book was the importance of financial planning and actually having a plan in place for the rest of your life. We didn't take it to the extremes that the book recommends, because Bill Perkins, being a mathematical analyst, advocates the use of all sorts of programs to try and predict your life expectancy. I'm not entirely sure whether I trust something like that, or whether I would really want to know what my life expectancy is going to be. What I want to do is carry on living each day as my best day. But I can't do that if I haven't got the reassurance of a financial plan that I'm not going to run out of money. One of the things we definitely took away from the book was to not postpone moments of joy, and to just get on with life and get on with living life. I think quite often people put off their enjoyment and their joy until their retirement years, whenever that may be. And life often throws us curveballs, and we don't know what the future holds for us. But there is one certainty in life, that our life is going to end. And what we've got to do is make sure that we capture those moments of joy whenever we can and not postpone them until an arbitrary date when we are going to retire. And for me, I think I had fallen into the habit of work, and it had very definitely become a habit, and I was no longer questioning as to why I was doing that. And one of the thought-provoking aspects of the book is that it did actually caused me to question as to why I was working and what value I was getting out of working, and whether I could get that value in a slightly different way. The book definitely emphasizes the value of shared experiences with the people that you love and making sure that you build those memories together. And that is something that we have definitely taken away since reading the book. By making the decision to early retire, we have not only got more time for the people that we love, but we have got the opportunity to build experiences together. So for instance, when we were teaching, we could never really go away with our adult kids because they didn't want to go away in school holiday time. But since we've been early retired, we've had the opportunity to have endless experiences together that we've really, really enjoyed. And hopefully those experiences will stay in their minds just as much as they are staying in mine and Jackie's minds. A really rather pertinent point that the book raises is that your children and the people that you love don't actually want the resources that you are going to leave them when you die. What they actually want is they want those memories of time together, of those happy times, of those experiences that you've shared throughout life, and those are the things that you hold most dear, not necessarily the contents of a financial will once you've passed away. And the final takeaway from the book is to do with daily gratitude and focusing on the things that you have rather than things that you don't have. I am a massive believer in the importance of, on a daily basis, thinking about the things that I'm grateful for, noting them down and raising them in my consciousness, because it just puts your mind in such a more positive state, and it makes you realize that there are quite simple experiences out there that are contributing massively to leading a fulfilled and a happy life. So that's it. I hope you have enjoyed my reflections on this book. I'd obviously absolutely thoroughly recommend that you read it. Try and look beyond the title, because I know Die with Zero is a rather provocative title and it does switch people off. It's a really well written book. It's written in plain English with lots of takeaways, and I definitely think that there is something that you will be able to take from the book. So that's it. Thanks ever so much. See you later.